So hi, I'm Chase. As I mentioned, I'm an engineer on the Flow JavaScript libraries, so like FCL and the JavaScript SDK. And one of the things we sought to do with FCL is abstract away the code specific to wallet integrations so that dApp developers can easily start building dApps quickly without having to worry about things like authentication. So one of the ways we've done this in the past is via the method most of you have probably seen or used on Flow, and that's the discovery wallet config setting. You see that right here. This setting enables you to launch a list of possible wallets to authenticate a user with, and this is done through an iframe, pop, or tab most of the time, and renders the discovery app inside of these methods. So let's take a look. You can ignore this setting that's included. I'll come back to that in a bit. So this is what you've currently been seeing. You'll now see that I have a demo extension in here though. This isn't a real extension. I put it into the window for this example to show that extension support for discovery also now exists in the latest version. So as mentioned, this method launches a list of all possible compatible wallets without you having to worry about any of the discovery of wallets or the integration. So currently the list isn't huge, but we're excited about some wallets to start coming out of the community, and we have documentation and more coming soon if you're interested in building a Flow wallet. And as we prepare for more wallets on Flow, dApps are going to want to support as many as possible without needing to write a bunch of code each time. That again is where discovery comes into play. So one of the things we've heard from the community though is that you'd like more customizability on the UI of the wallets for authentication. So we've been working on a new way of accessing and presenting discovery in your application while still giving you a simple abstraction and ease of integration. The new way is what we're calling Discovery API. So in the same way that many apps list sign in with X, sign in with Z on a login or registration page, for example, this Rarible authentication page, we wanted to give apps the ability to list the Flow wallet services with full control over the UI if they desire, so not showing up in this like iframe or pop or tab. So to do this, starting in version 0.0.78, we've added a new optional config value called discovery.authn.endpoint, which also discovers all Flow compatible wallets for you, but is now exposed and wallets are returned via the FCL library directly. You can list them in your application in any way you want and authenticate using the same authenticate method you used before. You just have to pass the service in now. So if I go into my config and instead of this discovery wallet, I add in the new endpoint here, which is discovery.authn.endpoint, and I point to this API here that we've set up for discovery. And let's go ahead and put some local state in my React app for wallets. I'll just put another use effect here and I could combine them. So now you'll see that you can call fcl.discovery.authn.subscribe and then set the results you get back. And then instead of having to do this login button, which pops this up, you can now take this list of wallets that's returned, map through them, and we'll set the key as the address since that's the unique identifier we have here. And then inside of FCL Authenticate, we're going to pass that wallet in as service. And then we could say, pulling in some of the data we have, like wallet.provider.name. So now these appear as buttons in my application instead of launching that window. And I can list through them. I can have full control over the UI. I could style them in any way I want with CSS. And I could get rid of this login button. And then these will open up Blockto or extension or whatever wallet you have listed here directly. Also, separately in version 0.0.78 of FCL, we've introduced a new way to remove wallets with limited functionality from showing in both forms of discovery. So we realize that wallets like Ledger are limited in features, and we don't want your users to have to authenticate with a limited wallet only to find out they can't perform some action later in your application. So to do this, there's a new discovery.authn.include right here. Sorry, there it is. And so these are the wallets you've been seeing before in the previous version. And so to do this, you use this value, and that config value lets you opt in to include limited functionality wallets like Ledger. If you want to have them included. So right now I have it enabled to show what it previously looked like, but if I remove the include value from my config, you'll see the wallet disappear. Okay, and then if I go to this login, it's also dissipated. So in order to get the addresses of wallets to include, we've listed them in the documentation. So if you go to the Flow docs, go to Discovery, list them down here. You can also find them in the Discovery repo in the services JSON file. And if you ever create a wallet and you want to have it appear in Discovery, you would just make a PR listing your wallet service here and get it merged, and then it would start showing in FCL Discovery. So, any questions?
Yeah, there is one question on Slido, which is, are there plans to be able to get information back from the wallet provider into your dApp?
Information back from the wallet provider into your dApp? Are you talking about...
I'm assuming like Blockto, for example. So when people log in with Blockto, that would give some form of information back to the dApp.
This is Bjortek. I asked that question, so I can probably fill in why I asked it. So it's more like if the user has some settings they have set in the wallet or an email or whatever, if you have plans to integrate some sort of a way to get information back from the wallet providers.
Yeah, so it works the same way it has in that, like, once you authenticate with a wallet, you'll be returned the current user setting here. And so if you subscribe to the current user, everything comes back in the same way. So you whatever the wallet chooses to return in terms of, maybe it's an email and it's the list of services that are compatible with them. And then you'll have all those via FCL current user.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's up to the wallet to decide what to send back in the user object?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and log in with one. So you log in and, I don't have it listed here right now, but and I'm in Code Sandbox, so I can't really pull in the network tab. But if you took a look at that current user object, you would have things like, the user's address, if I believe an email was provided, the list of services, whether that's authorization or pre-authorization, and anything else that could be potentially listed as a service that wallet supports, and maybe some information here on current user as well in the documentation. I can post out some documentation links after this in the office hours chat.
Awesome. This is an amazing feature. Anyone else have any questions about this?
I have one more that I asked in the Slido, and that's, so before, a Dapper wallet used to show up in the Discovery pop-up, and it said it's coming soon, but now it's gone.
Yeah, so it was coming soon. It wasn't currently supported, so it has plans to come at some point. We're just only listing the ones that are currently available to use.
I can add a little bit more to that. It will be, technically the Dapper wallet is limited functionality. It'll only sign transactions that they have sort of pre-approved to sign, part of their security policy and all that. So it will actually, it's closer to the ledger than it is to Blockto. So to get your app to work with Dapper, you need to be talking to Dapper, and they would give you an address to put into that discovery.authn.include to use.
So just at a really high level, the Dapper wallet is slowly but surely being made available to a growing number of teams. And we want the community to know, especially the dApp development community to know, that we are working really hard to open up the Dapper wallet to as many teams as possible, as quickly as possible. So we apologize for not being able to give it to everybody right here and now, but we're working on it.
Yeah. And one other thing I'll say is, last week, James also went into a little bit more detail on the Dapper side. So if you want to check out those office hours, they're recorded and available on YouTube. Because that point also came up last week. Awesome. Thank you, Chase. That is really exciting. Looking forward to using it in my dApps and being able to offer a bit more customizable CX for people logging in. And it's cool that we can self-register our own extensions if we choose to.